Welcome everybody, it's good old Meowgician here in the Meowlands, and today I am working on my server. I've already added a lot. I've got my portals and stuff, but I wanted to make sure to show you something I did. I haven't actually made a video about it, and it's important. So, today's video in the server, I'm going to be showcasing the player-based in-game clock, the cycling scoreboard, and my power converters. And I'm starting on my power level system. So if you look right now, I've already done the HP. You start with only one heart, and as you grow to level 100, you get all your hearts back. So I'm level 49. At level 50, I'll get one more heart. Oh, did it just happen? No, I'm at 5 hearts. So all of this is coded to be like an RPG kind of level, but to do that I need lots of things. And these are a couple of them. So let's go over this first. I needed to make an in-game clock because on Bedrock you can set delays to command blocks, but on Java you cannot do this. So you need one of these puppies. Now, a common theme with my blocks are these impulses with black buttons. All these do are remind me of commands that I've had to do. Like, I could just do these commands in the bar and forget about it, but in case I move this to a new world, I want to remember these. So these create scoreboards, particularly the ones that have to do with the different times of day. You want to run each of these commands. Scoreboard objectives, add hour, dummy, parentheses, hour. With just each type of second down to the tick. And so now I have scoreboards for all the different times, including ticks. The next thing is I need to add ticks. So every player gets a tick every tick. So this happens 20 times a second. Now, here's where things get complicated, but really not. Just 4 blocks, and it's a repeating theme. So the first block is repeater unconditional always active. The next 3 are chain unconditional always active. Remember that. And it's the same for all of these. Now, the first one here, what I do is execute as at all at self. If score at self tick matches 20 or greater. So what that means is once the person has 20 ticks or higher, it's going to run a command. It's going to tag at s add shift tick. So that tag, I made up that tag just for this. So the second they get 20 ticks, they are tagged as shift tick. Now, the reason I do this, the reason I have tags here is because I want to prevent this machine from them getting 20 ticks halfway through it and it taking away their ticks but not giving them a second. If that didn't make sense, it will at the end. Just watch the video again. But what I mean is this machine accounts for everything. You cannot mess it up. So what happens is they get tagged with shift tick. Then this chain, it's unconditional. This is always firing. This adds, now think about this. If they got 20 ticks at this point in the command running, this block won't do anything because it only adds 1 second to people with the tag shift tick. So basically, I am forcing people to enter my command chain at the time I want them to, which is the beginning. That's what the tag's for. Now this gives them a second. This resets their ticks to 0, and this removes the tag that I put on them. So when you do all of that, you've got a scoreboard timer. Congratulations. So this is the cycling scoreboard. And this is what is displaying my cat crystals and my power level occasionally. If you look, every few seconds it switches. This was tricky to do in Java, so I'll show you how I did it. The first thing is, well, first off, let me go back here and show you. The only thing that needs to change once you get up to the top there is your language. So this one, it happens once the person has 60 seconds and it runs shift sec, and then it gives them a minute and takes away their seconds and then removes that tag. This one's going to be the same thing for minutes. So at 60 minutes it's going to add shift min and give an hour and take away the minutes. And then this one sets it up at 24 hours. It sets them up at a day. And I'll probably add a week-long one right here. I just haven't gotten to it. Now, this is the scoreboards I have to create for my money and for my power. But you're going to see inside of here, I'm going to need 2 more scoreboards. These are just repeats. This is literally a duplicate of what's on the left. So this is just money and power again. I'll eventually replace these with 2 other things cycling information on the right there. And actually, I'll probably replace this with a superior scoreboard eventually. But this will do for most people, the sidebar scoreboard. So the first thing I had to do to make this run well is to have a machine that is kind of like this. I had to create a second clock, but it runs off of this clock. So these 2 are something else. These 2 just show my health inside the tab right there. That just having these 2 commands, if you just type those exactly and then run them like that, when you push tab it'll show your health. Now that doesn't really belong here, it belongs somewhere else, but I don't have anywhere else to put it right now. I mean, it kind of belongs to you. This is all scoreboards. Okay, so this is the clock, and the way it works is I add to an imaginary player called #time 1 tick every tick. Now this is execute as @player if score #time tick matches 20, run scoreboard players at time 1 sec. So this gives #time 1 second. And now this let me go to the front. Execute as @player if score time tick matches 20, run scoreboard players set time tick 0. So this gets rid of the tick. And this execute as if score time sec matches 40, run scoreboard players set a time second. Okay, see, so this is a 40-second clock. Now, the way this little tag clock works is there's a invisible player that I've created, imaginary, called #time, and they get a clock that every 40 seconds resets. So now I can summon that clock, their timing with this, and you'll see how. So what I do is, in the repeater, execute as @all @self if the score for #time the second matches 0, if the score #time tick matches 0. So when the clock resets completely, the seconds and the ticks, it runs scoreboard objectives, remove D money. Now you're going to say, well, what is that scoreboard objective? Well, you create it here in the second one. Now all of these are chain conditionals, meaning if this one doesn't ring true, none of this fires. And so this actually helps me save a lot of space and stuff. Okay, now now this is a conditional, but it really shouldn't be. Execute as @player if score to that doesn't need to be conditional. That was conditional by mistake. But all these have to be conditional. And so the only difference between these, now wait, I'll have to show you because they're long. The repeater is what you saw. It removes the tag D money. Now this next one adds back the tag D money. And this is the one that shows up at the top of the list, the like display name. So you want to name that what you want it to look like. Then above it, this one adds to all players 0 D money. And what that does is lets them show up on the scoreboard. Now what this does is really long. Execute as at all, at self run, scoreboard players, operation, at self, D money equals at S money. This is a really important command. What this command does is make it so people don't show up when they're offline. And that's why we have 2 scoreboards, money and D money is its display money. That's what that is. And the last one sets the display sidebar as that. So if you wanted to change it, you would just change sidebar to whatever you want. And if you change this with your display tag, so just add D. And with all of that running, the only differences here is one thing. The second has to match 10 for this one. So this happens 10 seconds after the first one. And this one, the second matches 20. And this one, the second matches 30. So it loops every 40 seconds, all 4 of my displays. And that is the complete scoreboard cycler. Now, the other things I'll show you is this, which I've added, which is the basics to start my power cycling. The passive crystal income, because now that I have my own system of power level and money, I need to create a system that generates it. And this does just that with my clock. So I'm using that clock that I just showed you, the first clock. So it's all this: execute as at all at self, if score at self, tick matches 10, if score at self, second matches 10. So this runs once a minute. They collect 1 gold a minute just by being in the level, or 1 crystal. Now this is the power increaser, and the issue I have is I don't want people's power increasing that fast. And I can't just make it so they get 1 power an hour, because if they miss the moment that power shows up, they just don't get it. And so that's not nice. So I had to create fractions of power, and this is how I did it. This first block is a power to, or a POW to power converter, meaning if the tick matches 10 and the score, or well, if the second matches 20, it adds 10 POW. So this gives them 10 POW a minute, and this is the power converter. So if the tick matches 10 and if the score second matches 20 to 24, that means about 5 times a minute it will convert their wait a minute, how do I put this? This machine checks their enchantment level, and if it's over 1, it starts to take away their enchantment level and give them power instead. And it's written like this. Just pause the video if you need to write down a lot of this. So the first one gives the score, and this one subtracts the XP. And they both kind of run back and forth. And since it's not that big of a deal, I don't have a tag guarding it. It just keeps bouncing between the two, removing XP and giving power level. Oh, now here's the POW to power converter. the first thing I need to do is create the objective POW. And now this one runs on the tag system that I had before. So if POW reaches 100, what happens is the person gets tagged as shift POW. So a POW is 1/100th of a power point. Then these are all unconditional. And you see the pattern. This is the same way I did the other ones, through tag shifting. And then it removes the tag. So these are kind of my tag shifters, and through this I've created a money system, a time system, and a power leveling system. And now this is my power level system. The only one that's ready so far is HP. Here's the first one. Execute as at all with a power level of 0 to 9. And what this does is it forces them to have a generic max health of 2, so 1 heart. And these all run over and over, up and down. Now what this does is executes at people power level 10 to 19, and this gives them 2 hearts of health. And so on, all the way up. At one point I choose to put in a repeater so that it's not taking as long to run all these. Now this one is the max, and so at this point I don't have anything beyond 1,000, like 2,000. I just end it there. And what this does is gives the max amount of health, which is 2 full bars of health. That's basically it. That's all I've invented so far. This is the basic time, power, and money system of the Meowlands. I might add to it later, but for now I'm not going to. I'll be working on other stuff like this. This is my special item. This is the magic scythe, and the magic scythe is everybody has it. Even if you're a regular player, it's right there at the end of the hotbar, and you can't get rid of it. You can't throw them down or anything. You just always have it. And by right clicking it, you gain a bunch of things. Like you can teleport up a little or down a little. You can return to the spawn point. You can go a plot length ahead. You can gain a little power or crystals. You can look at your stats. That's not ready yet. And you can listen to the tutorial. That's not ready yet. And you can just close the menu. So I'll be working on that. The magic scythe abilities, because they're really what make the world accessible. And that's it. That's all I got for now. So like and subscribe. See you next time.